everybody. Welcome back to the Underwater Photography Show. I am Matthew Sullivan.
And I'm Alex Mustard.
And today we have Inspirational Instagram number 10 for you guys.
Number 10, excellent.
Yeah. Which means this will be about 80 or 90 images at this point that we have done this for. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first one is from, oh yeah, I guess you have to pull them up, Alex.
Yeah, I'm just going to find my way through the software. Right, they're up on screen.
Cool.
So the first one is by Drew_Wilson_photography. And yes. I can't guess where that one is other than it's cold.
Yeah, so this is called the Missile Tower, and it is near the U.S.-Mexico border, and was once a testing platform for the Trident missile systems, and it sits in 160 feet of water off San Diego now.
Oh, wow.
So I knew I wouldn't remember that, so I saved it to read off his Instagram.
Oh, right. It's deep as well.
Yeah. So he's a big tech diver. I know that. So he's done a lot of those strange wrecks way off Southern California that nobody else really dives.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like this one because it's not a place I've ever seen photographed before. I like that he lit up the inside of the silo, which is really cool. And
especially at 160 feet.
Yeah. And like you said, it's just covered in life, which is always a fun picture.
It's good visibility for down there as well. I guess maybe a little bit deeper it clears up. I don't know.
Probably. It's because generally they get that haziness up shallow over there. So maybe down deep is when you actually get clear water. But really cool, unique picture, I think.
Yeah, really interesting explosion of life. And I love it, all the tritiums all over it. Really, they stalked anemones. Really, really nice. Right. Knowing you, I know that there'll be a good proportion working our way up this coastline. So let's see if we go further north on the same coastline next. And indeed we do, but the photographer is from the other side of a continent and an ocean. It's Nigel Much from Ireland, but his photo is taken in Canada of a beautiful young wolf eel. And they really are incredibly attractive as youngsters and quickly go downhill. I can't think of anything else like that in the world. So,
I love wolf eels at whatever stage of life they're in. I've actually never, I think I've seen one that was like one of the bright orange juveniles, and I did not have a chance for a photograph. So this one it's a beautiful fish, and you've been to that part of the world. It's so colorful everywhere up there, and he did a really good job of incorporating that into this picture. And I actually like that you can see all the stuff in the background as well. I think it adds to it.
Yeah, very much so. It's such a unique habitat, and being able to bring that through just comes through so well in the shot.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think is cool about diving up there is if you're able to show off any of the habitat, people immediately know where it's from, because it's such a unique area, and getting a really cool subject in there is just an added bonus.
Yeah, and he's got kind of those three primary colors that just say the diving there, the yellow sponge, the red soft coral, and the white anemones. Exactly. You could see a picture of the globe and put a pin exactly where you think this picture's from. And it is a very, very classily produced portrait. Just beautiful animal in a beautiful setting, job done, kind of, for me. Just pleasing to look at, isn't it? Right. It sounds like the wolf eel's trying to escape. So we'll move on to our next picture, which is from above_Thermocline, probably taken within a kilometer of the previous picture. But by a different photographer, possibly at a different year and everything. So. Yeah.
So again, pretty recognizable what area this is from. Everyone who goes to God's Pocket, I think the first dive you do is at Hoodie Nudie Bay. It's an easy checkout dive, and it's aptly named because certain times a year, these guys there's millions of them on every stalk of anemones, of kelp. And I'm not a huge nudibranch guy, but these are so un-nudibranch-like that I really enjoy them. And I've always wanted to have one of these kind of pictures for myself. Every time I've dived this site, it's been about 4 feet of visibility. So I haven't had the chance to get, the surface behind the I'm screwing up names left and right here
The
today.
kelp.
I haven't been the sun behind the. I almost said it again. The nudibranchs. I keep going to say anemones.
Well, they
Um,
do look like an. I think that's part of
it-
their charm,
yeah,
is that they because they've got these big oral hoods covered in tentacles, they do very much look like anemones with this translucent look,
yeah,
and that's why they're so pretty.
yeah,
Malibu jelly nudies are really really attractive creatures. What I like about this is that they don't sit there posing with their mouths open like this. They
yeah,
engulf and drain, engulf and drain. And what I like about this is the picture is really well timed to get a whole bunch of them all with their mouths or their oral hoods fully open, which is really cool. So yeah, very very pretty environment. Um, like you say, it's a beautiful place. It's not always easy place to get clean, spectacular images like this, and it's also a site I think that benefits from a bit of sun. So when
yeah,
I take my workshop groups up there, we always do this more than once, but we ask to do it on a day where there's sun. We
yeah,
always say if we get a sunny morning, whatever else, because it's a dive you can do at any state of tide.
yeah.
So we're just like, okay, we're going to go and do the nudies, and it's a really good opportunity to get them. I don't know who above Thermocline is, but it's also very nicely lit. This shot, really
Yeah.
well done. Right, I'm going to
And
move
that's
us.
the other
Oh,
thing is they're often quite hard to light because similar to jellyfish, they just absorb it and they don't really reflect it back. So you have to light them really well to get them to
yeah.
show up necessarily. So yeah, really cool.
Okay, moving on to Sammy Glenn underscore dives, a picture of a very handsome pair of ghost pipefish hanging around some stinging hydroids it says Atlantis Dive Resort, which I guess is the Atlantis in the Philippines, because I think that's the place where you can most commonly see lots of ghost pipefish. There are two Atlantis resorts in the Philippines. One is in Dumaguete or Darwin, and one is down in Puerto Galera. So I don't know where this one is, but very, very handsome fish. I always love ghost pipefish shots. I think ghost pipefish is all about the shape, and I love that this shot shows off that shape beautifully, and also it shows off the differences between the female, which is the big one here, and the smaller male behind.
Yeah, I also like the fact that he chose to show the ambient light in the background and not make it black.
Mm.
Because a lot of instinct would be just to have this black background and have them pop out of that. But I think because he chose color, it works even better, at least for me.
Yeah,
Um,
because the foreground is all very warm, and then that cool background blue is really nice.
and they're just such spectacular. Sorry, I'm itchy today. Such spectacular fish. The female is carrying eggs here in her pouch, which is cool. And he said he has some other images where you can see the eggs better. But yeah, it shows off the sexual dimorphism quite well, also.
Mm.
And to have them both kind of in the same plane of focus is nice, instead of having one dramatically further back. I haven't seen a ton of ghost pipefish, but every time I've seen a pair, the male always positions himself well in front of the female, and then you're not able to get them both in the frame. But yeah, this is a beautiful beautiful fish, and I really like the blue, and a little bit of hydroid there as well. It gives some context.
Yeah, a rare warm water entry into our inspirational
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah. We have another warm one here.
Oh, it's warm again. Oh no. So these are, I guess, Atlantic spotted dolphins
Yeah,
taken by Scott Roberts tries on Instagram, and what a fantastic front individual, just setting off the composition. Great eye contact. I think the spotted dolphins, when they're really spotty like this, are very very beautiful dolphins.
yeah,
And I like the light in this. It's either the surface is a bit rough or the sunlight is kind of a bit diffused because of high clouds or something like that. And I think because that gives you a softer light underwater, which I think allows you to see more of the dolphin. Often when the surface is very calm, the sun is really harsh, which kind of most people think is perfect conditions, you end up with a bit too many light patterns on the dolphins, and you can't
yeah.
kind of see the patterns of themselves. And this is a wonderful light for seeing the details on this dolphin. Is it in Bimini or?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So he goes over there to Bimini a couple times a year, and he has some spectacular dolphin pictures. And I could have chosen. He has one it's a really nice sunball as well, but I think it's just a solo dolphin, and I kind of like that this guy has his entourage behind him as well.
Mm.
But like you said, it's a beautiful individual too, with all that speckling and spotting. Because a lot of times they just look like small bottlenose because they're almost completely gray.
Yeah, the
Um,
young ones especially.
yeah.
Yeah.
So getting one that's heavily patterned, full eye contact, it's so super sharp. And they're just such a fun animal. Can't help but smile when you look at them.
Yeah, I bet he was running his shutter speed fast for this one because it's
I would
coming right
imagine.
at the camera.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really cool, really nice shot. So we had the Atlantic, and now we're in Western Australia for Wendy's.underwater.world on the Ningaloo Reef on the Indian Ocean side of Australia. And what a lot of stinging nastiness in that picture.
It reminds me of the scene in Finding Nemo where Dory and Marlin have to cut through all the jellyfish to try to get through them. Uh, and I've been stung by a single lion's mane before, and it doesn't feel awesome. So I imagine this would be hugely unpleasant. But it's a really cool thing. I've never seen a picture like this, and I think either she told me or it's in her caption that a bunch of currents just kind of brought
Yeah.
millions of these lion's manes together, which looks, I've never seen a picture quite like this before of lion's manes. And it's just, there's so much life because whatever in the picture isn't a jellyfish is a fish. There's all these fish swarming around them as well, probably picking off smaller bait fish and crustaceans and things like that. But just a really unique image. So it stopped me when I saw it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see lion's mane in the cold water regularly,
Yeah.
but more commonly relatively solitary or spaced out. But in the cold water diving, you're obviously all covered up, so
Yeah.
you're a bit more relaxed about swimming around them. I'm not, because they have really, really long tentacles that are, just, seem like single threads
Yeah.
running through the water. So they're very hard to avoid. And obviously in cold water diving, you're just there going, well, if it wraps around my dry suit, I'm not going to feel it. So you're kind of a bit more relaxed about it. But I'm not sure how I'd feel. That many jellies, that many, strings of sting coming off them. I think it's a really, really unusual situation. Really interesting to see.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the lion's manes have that long thin tentacle because the first time, unfortunately, the only time I've been stung by one was in Alaska, and I just felt this like burning right across the one part of your face that you're
Yeah,
supposed to
the
have
old
this
moustache
burning.
thing.
I didn't
Yeah.
see anything, so I'm like, what the hell is that? And I saw the tentacle, and I followed the visibility is maybe 20 feet, and I swore I followed this thing for like obviously it wasn't that far, but it felt like I followed this thing forever, and then I finally came across this enormous lion's mane with tentacles that are probably 75 feet long, just floating through the
Amazing.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he got me right across the top of the lip. So I got out, and it looked like I'd had
Free
like lip
Botox.
injections on the top part of my lip and couldn't talk. But yeah, so being uncovered in warm water with this many lion's manes would probably not feel awesome, but a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, and unusual to see them in warm water because they
Yeah,
are.
yeah, we have one that we sometimes see here called pink meanies, which look like small lion's manes.
Hmm.
But these look like legitimate.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, the bell shapes at the top look very like normal
yeah,
lion's manes.
yeah,
Yeah, really cool. Right, moving on to our penultimate one. We're with David _Hicks _wild _images, and these very, very beautiful opalescent squid.
oh,
And you've got all sorts of interactions here. You've got males courting females. So you've probably got a guarding male as well, and then a whole bunch in the background.
yeah. So there was a relatively big squid run in Washington State a month or two ago,
Mm.
and a bunch of people got to go and see it, and Dave got some really, really nice images from there. Anytime there's a big mating event, I've always wanted to see a squid run, and I lived in California for 2 years. And the one night when I lived out there that had a squid run, I was on a plane and couldn't make it home in time or make it back in time to go see it. Um, so someday, hopefully, but I really like all these interaction images with all the different squid. And I don't know if it's a male grabbing another male or a male grabbing a female or what's going on there. But those three are very clearly the subject. And like you said, then you have the
Yeah,
squid in the background, which balances it nicely.
yeah,
I'm
you
just,
might be right. Actually, it might be the female might be the more central one, and the one that's being grabbed might be the guarding male,
yeah.
and then the other one's trying to get in on the action, or just hyped up on
Yeah, yeah.
on pheromones and hormones.
Um, have you ever gotten to see a squid run like this?
No, no, never. I mean, no, no. We don't get them in the Atlantic. so we don't have that opportunity locally. And I've never seen one of the big aggregations.
Yeah, looks like it'd be a lot of fun to photograph though.
Yeah. Oh, and with all the predators coming in as well, and then when the eggs cover the seabed, it's really fascinating. Yeah, and hopefully, there's some really cool pictures out there. I look forward to contest season, and maybe we'll see some really, really unusual stuff coming up. Right. And what a setting for a war bonnet. Veronica Nagy, I hope I got the name pronounced right. But yeah, a beautiful decorated war bonnet sitting in just the most perfect place. Yeah. Sitting amongst all this red soft coral. Very much like Nigel's picture from earlier in the series. Just screams where it's taken in the world.
Yeah. And I like Giant Pacific Octopus, the decorated war bonnets are up there with those are my two main white whales for the Pacific Northwest. So every picture I see of one catches my eye, but like you said, they're not often in such pretty setups. Like that soft coral is so iconic, it's beautiful, and he's just nestled in there all tucked in and cozy with those big old lips and the crazy hair. So an awesome fish in a really cool setting. I like the slightly harsh lighting as well, just to bring out some texture on the corals and the fish.
No, it's just a beautiful fish. I really get. I just want to kind of see it bigger than I'm seeing it on my screen. There's so much to enjoy in that face, and those just an iconic species. And although we kind of see pictures of them a lot, it's an incredibly rare fish globally if you think about it. So fascinating to see.
And even up there, at least for me, I've never seen one, and I've done 9 trips to the Pacific Northwest, and I've yet to see a decorated war bonnet. So there's still not a common fish up there even.
It's kind of like pygmy seahorses in the Indo-Pacific. It's kind of, they're really rare, but you see a lot of pictures of them because if people get a picture, they tend to share it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's they're like that a bit. Yeah, so I've found up there you have to hunt for them. You have to dedicate dives, and I've wasted a lot of time on dives up there looking for them. I certainly think sometimes in the big yellow sponges you've got more of a chance.
Yeah.
In recent times, but I think it's really, really. I used to dive with a few friends up there, and Todd Mintz in particular. He was just an expert at finding them, and he just had this kind of sixth sense for this is the sort of place one would. Oh, look, there's one. And you just be like, what? So I think that's how I got a lot of my good pictures. Is basically having them found for me by a dive buddy who was able to find them at will.
I almost put you posted one recently. I almost put your image of the decorated into one of these.
But we have a standard, it's gotta be good to get in here.
But that's we'll have more of these ones coming up for you guys soon. Lots more images from other people to share. But that's it for this 10th edition of Inspirational Instagram. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.